Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the FatmanStephens podcast. I am Marcus FatmanStephens. Welcome back. We are talking video games today. Yes, sir. If you couldn't tell by my shirt, I paused my game to be here. I paused my game to record this podcast. I paused my life to record this podcast. And I want to talk about the remaining 2022 releases because as we get now to the closer to the end of the year, either games are that are supposed to be released in 2022 are either getting released, they're either getting dates to be released, or they're getting pushed back. Those are the few things that are happening now. So I thought I would talk about some of these games that are currently have release dates at least. It seems like the last few weeks there's been a lot of release dates that have been announced. I want to say at least, I'm looking at my list real quick. I want to say at least 4 or 5 of these games on this list were announced to be releasing this year in the last month and a half or so. So I feel like I'm going to do a quick episode based on gaming, based on that. Because again, gaming is such a big facet of my life. And I have to report that I still have not beaten any other 2022 release like Elden Ring or Horizon Forbidden West or Dying Light 2 or Monarch, Tiny Tina's Adventures, whatever it's called for Borderlands. Have them all sitting upstairs on my list, on my mantle, and I have not beaten any of them except for Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Haven't beat Sifu. I just got AI, the Sound and File Nirvana, the Nirvana Paradox, what it's called, the Nirvana Initiative, excuse me. And I really like that. It took me a minute to get into the story, but once everything started happening, I'm like deeply invested in the characters, and I kind of forgot that this is done by the same team that has done 999 and Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Time Dilemma. So I should have known that it was going to be a banger because the first one was really good. It just was slow. The second one was started off pretty slow for me, but this really picked up. I'm highly invested, and I just got to chapter 3, and chapter 3 is the second chapter that kind of splits up. So now I'm just like, oh, I want to see what goes on this timeline, and then there's what's going on in the other timeline. And of course, you got the whole Mizuki. I think it's probably going to be the Mizuki timeline as well. So it's like, oh, I really can't wait to really delve into that. But that is a game that I'm currently playing. Let's talk about games that we'll be playing in the future in the next few months. I'm doing from July to December. All these games that currently do have release dates. Of course, any of these can change in the next few weeks. Once COVID is still a thing, people are still working remote from home. Anything is very possible in this thing of gaming. So I don't know how many games this is, but I got a whole list of games that I prefer to play. So I'm probably missing some indie titles, and of course, we're going to get new releases from Game Pass and things that are surprise releases and things like that. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about so far my game of the year. It's been 6 months. So I know everybody wants to talk about Elden Ring, but I did not give Elden Ring the proper time it deserved. I did not give Horizon Forbidden West the proper time it deserved either. I put in 20 hours into Dying Light 2. I think I had the most hours of all the games that I did not beat. But for me, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is probably my game of the year right now. And it's only because I finished it from start to finish, and I can really talk about it. I really enjoy Vampire Survivors as well. What else have I played this year that really stood out that I did not beat? Hold on, I have a list. So because I gotta actually update this a lot too. Because I realized I forget a lot of things that I either play or watch or anything. I'm making a whole list of stuff I have watched and played. So I haven't updated this in a very long time. So I had to add some stuff to it. Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo I haven't beaten either. I barely played Triangle Strategy. Ugh. I'll put number 2 game of the year is Vampire Survivors. That game is wild. I love me some roguelikes. I love me some um just randomness, and it's still in pre-release, so it hasn't really been finished, and they keep adding stuff. And I haven't played it in like a month and a half, and I need to get back on it because they added some new things. They added a final boss now, but that's probably my number 2 game of the year. But again, did not give enough time to Elden Ring, which I know everybody's into, and I really should be into myself. For me, it was just too open, And I know that sounds really stupid because open world games are such a thing, but it was just way too open for me. I prefer the Dark Souls where it's open, but it's still linear enough. I feel like I can go anywhere in Elden Ring, and that's overwhelming. It's probably one of the same reasons I don't really get into Breath of the. I didn't really like Breath of the Wild as much as everybody else did. I think it's a 9 out of 10 game. I think it's fantastic. I just didn't really get into it as much as other people did. Let's start off the list of games because I want to get through this as fast as I can. First game up coming out. It's coming out on July 22nd, so it's only coming out. It's like next Friday. Live a Live coming out for the Switch. This is a Super Nintendo RPG that had never came out stateside. A lot of people have translated it to get to people to play it, but it's the first official release. It's getting the 2D HD kind of look. That same thing that Project Triangle has gotten, and the same thing that Octopath Traveler has gotten. So it looks in that same vein. This is a game. Well, first of all, it's $50, so it's $10 off main price. So it's already a deal for your boy. I'm getting it because I heard so many great things about this RPG, and the Super Nintendo is probably the best console for JRPGs. I mean, the PS2 for me is my favorite. I think PS2 is superior because it has longer games and obviously technology and better technology. It's 10 years in the future. When you have a system that has Super Megami Tensei Nocturne, Persona 3, 4, Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2, Shadow Hearts 1, 2, and 3, Final Fantasy 10 and 12, it's kind of like, I haven't even named the Wild Arms 3, 4, and 5, the Arts of Linico, how about Manakemia? There's so many great RPG series on that console. Metal Saga, Steampunk Chronicles. For me, I just think it's the best gaming, the RPG console. But Level Live looks interesting. I don't know too much about it. I'm going in blind because that's how I like to do with some RPGs I don't know about. But I'm very, 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 very excited to see what this is about. Come July 22nd, come next Friday. Wow. After that, July 29th, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was supposed to be released September. Nintendo kind of shifted it around because they wanted to have, games. They wanted to have games come out periodically. So we got, I think Xenoblade will come out in July. You have Splatoon 3 comes out in September, and you have the Mario Rabbids 2 comes out in October. So they kind of split them all up. And you definitely didn't want to have Xenoblade and Mario come out like 3 weeks away from each other because they are both kind of like RPG kind of games. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I played all the Xenoblade Chronicle games. I've purchased Xenoblade Chronicles 3 different times. First time on the Wii when it first came out. Second time, I got a whole new 3DS just to play Xenoblade Chronicles. And then I purchased the remaster. I bought the actual cartridge when it first came out. Then I bought it on sale for $20 digitally, so I own that. I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or Xenoblade Chronicles, what is it? Xenoblade Chronicles X? Is that what it's called? Which, disappointing, but I played it. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2, disappointing as well. I've only played, I beat, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, never beat it, got to the end, did not beat it. First time I beat Xenoblade Chronicles was on the 3DS because I had more time. I was traveling to and from work in Camp Prussia, which is an hour and a half for me, on train and buses and everything. So basically 3 hours a day I was playing the game. Great stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles is probably the best 2010s RPG. Ooh. Probably it's up against like Persona 3 and like Final Fantasy 13 and 15. Forget Persona 13 and 15. It's between 9 and Persona 5. That's the two best RPGs of the 2010s, JRPGs. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 looks like it's going to mix 1 and 2 together. It's kind of mixing some of the combat features of 2, which I didn't get really too much into, but it has the speed of 1. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for me was super, super slow. I don't know if it's because I played it when it first came out in 2017, 5 years ago. Holy crap. But it was super slow, and I could not get into it as much as Chronicles 1, which was really fast and flashy. Like I just felt like it flowed so much better. This one looks like it has a nice medium. It's more pushing towards 1 in terms of the battle system. You have like 6 people playing at once. That's going to be crazy. That means the bosses are going to be like just like HP tanks. So I'm a little scared about that. I saw the preview of them playing, and it was like a level 5 creatures, and the health bar was just like going down like very, very slowly, unlike Xenoblade Chronicles 1, where it's going down fast. So I don't know if that's plays in part to it because you have 6 party members, but I'm looking forward to the job system as well. People can like mix and match jobs and everything and certain abilities. That sounds fun. I don't know too much about the story, but I know it's mixing the stories of 1 and 2 together. I'm more concerned about the gameplay. Obviously, the story is important, but for an RPG like this, that's going to be 90 hours or so like that, I need to make sure the gameplay is going to be fun throughout the whole experience. And so far, it looks good. I've read like 2 or 3 previews on it, and they all say the same thing, that combat does not get boring. So, fingers crossed. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is probably my most anticipated game in the next 3 months. It's between that. There's a lot of RPGs actually coming out entirely. So, all right, August 23rd is Saints Row. This is the reboot of Saints Row. Saints Row was actually supposed to come out the same day as Elden Ring. It ended up not coming out because, probably because of either COVID or for whatever reason. But Saints Row is finally coming out August 23rd, 2022. It looks to be rebooting the franchise into more of a serious, but it still has some of its lightheartedness. It's set in like the American Southwest. It looks very interesting. Again, not too much have I seen about the game. I just know it's Saints Row. I know that I'm a huge Saints Row fan. I think Saints Row was the only series. Okay, it's the only one only series I've beaten. Couldn't talk for a second. All the main entries. So I've beaten Saints Row, the original, 2, 3, and 4. Was there a 5? Don't remember. I think this might be Saints Row 5. But, or, I had never beaten Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. I did play it, but I never beat it. But I've beaten every other Saints Row mainline game, so I'm in there. Even Saints Row 4 was how crazy it was, but I beat it. So I'm really looking forward to this new Saints Row game. Again, don't know too much about it, but it's been a long time since we had such a big sandbox game like this. So, yeah, Saints Row 5 is. I took Saints Row 5 and I got that. So I forgot. I guess it's not Saints Row 5. It's a reboot. So I can't wait for this. 3 days later, because we love big gaming releases. Also, sorry, I forgot. July 29th, also Digimon Survive comes out. I'm not going to get Digimon Survive, but I'm definitely going to play it eventually. It's a big JRPG day for if you have a Switch. From July 22nd to the 29th is big for you because you can get 3 different JRPGs in a short amount of time. So August 26th, here we go. Looking forward to this. I didn't even know this was going to be a thing at the start of the year, but they started showing previews for it. Soul Hackers 2. Don't know anything about the Soul Hacker series, but you know what I know? It's made by Atlas, and they did Persona, so it's an instant day one buy for me. It looks like it has a similar battle system. I love traditional turn-based Japanese role-playing games. Till I die. I know people like the more action-oriented Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 15, and Final Fantasy 16 coming out next summer. Looks really good. But give me traditional, old-school, turn-based JRPG. It's a simple level up system. I love it. Edge of Eternity, do your thing. Looking so forward to this because, again, traditional Japanese role-playing game. In for the win, and also it's going to have that style of, a Persona, or it's going to have that look of the newer Shin Megami Tensei games. It's a win-win, and, this is a month after Xenoblade Chronicles, so I have a month to beat Xenoblade before I go to Soul Hackers. So excited. Alright, so after that, I get a nice little break. September 20th, Evil West releases. Evil West is done by Flying Hog Games. They have done the Shadow Warrior games. The Shadow Warrior games, well, I have not finished any of them. I played the first 2, and they were a blast. They give off a lot of Doom. 2014 Doom. 2014 and 2012, 13? Whenever Doom came out. It's giving off those vibes. Or 2016. I think it's 2016. It's giving off those vibes, and I love Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. It's a little bit more funny, just never beat them. But this looks like I saw somebody describe it as like God of War, because it has like behind the camera kind of thing. It looks really fun. The combo system looks really good, and to play co-op with another person throughout the whole game is obviously a very key point. Um, it's giving me like Remnant from the Ashes vibes as well, like in terms of the behind the camera kind of co-op aspect. 'Cause that's a great game as well. Um, Highly recommend if anybody never better beat it, but it's a highly recommend that game because it's super fun. But yeah, Evil West day one buy because simply because the gameplay looks fun. It looks like it's going to be a great co-op experience, and I haven't had a good co-op experience this year because, Outriders came out last year. That was my co-op experience, and Outriders and I have like a weird thing. I'm not gonna go into the details of all of it, but this actually starts this actually starts a really like long stretch for me of gaming. So after that, the next week is Legend of Heroes: Trails from Zero. Legend of Heroes is a series that I got into on the PSP when I first got my PSP. I bought the first three games, didn't beat them, didn't really even get into them. But then Trails of Cold Steel came out for the PS Vita, and I was hooked. Didn't beat it on the Vita. When it came out, so when the 3 was coming out to PS4, they said, "Hey, we're re-releasing 1 and 2 on PS4." I bought 1, didn't really play it, put it to the side, played it again in the summer randomly, and got absolutely hooked. Where I actually played like 5 to 10 hours a day, and then I finally beat 2 or bought 2, beat 2, bought 3 before it came out, and then I haven't really given it much time anyway since then. But this is where it all started from this kind of saga because it's like the Crossbell saga where Lloyd Banning's and everything. So all the characters that come up in Trail of Cold Steel 2 and 3 that we don't really know, we're finally getting their stories fleshed out. We're getting a sequel next year, I believe. And then I get the crossover games coming as well. So I hope, I'm looking forward to all them. I probably should play 2, 3, and 4, Trails of Cold Steel, but I'm not going to have time to beat 3 and 4 if I'm already playing AI and about to play Live a Live next Friday, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out. It's supposed to put a wrap in me. It's over. So there's that. Just looking forward to that. 2 days later, so this is 9 games in a 3-day span if you're counting at home. Valkyrie Elysium. A surprise announcement this year that they were doing a new Valkyrie game. Also the same day, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, the PSP port of Valkyrie Profile on PlayStation 1, is coming out the same day. If you buy the digital copy, you get both games for the same. Well, you get both games, or you can buy Valkyrie Profile Lenneth for $25 separately, which I'm sure a lot more people will actually do to actually buy Elysium. Elysium looks like a generic JRPG action RPG, and I'm here for it. I love me some hack and slash. Not every. I guess I know how much I like turn based, but Valkyrie Profile was never a turn based battle system I could really get behind. Um, but Valkyrie Elysium looks very interesting, very like hack and slash, very Kingdom Hearts esque. So I'm all for it, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. Definitely a day one buy. They're charging $60 for it. All right, Square Enix, you're going to get it from me, but I'm not going to be happy. October 7th, so another week, another like 8-10 days later or so, Marvel's Midnight Suns releases. Marvel Midnight Suns was supposed to be out in March 2022, but they pushed it back 7 months as a long pushback. This, I know people have been saying it because it's made by the team who did XCOM, so it looks like a Marvel superheroes with XCOM. I mean, it's a pretty generic thing to say about the game, but that's what it really looks like. I really enjoyed XCOM. I never beat either one of the XCOM games because they are very, very difficult. The only XCOM game I beat was the behind the third person cover shooter, Declassified, the Bureau, XCOM the Bureau, which was really good. But XCOM 1 and 2 are really good, and obviously it's Marvel superheroes. It's in a different light as well because we've had we've had the Avengers, we had Spider-Man, we had the Avengers, we've had Guardians of the Galaxy, all like these big action adventure kind of games. This is the first like RPG strategy game, big release for the Marvel franchise. So I'm really looking forward to playing that when it comes out. Definitely a day one buy for me. October 18th, Plague Tale Requiem. I have not beaten a Plague Tale Innocence yet, but it's on Game Pass, so I can actually beat it before then. I might have time. It's probably a quick game, like 10-15 hours. I think Plague Tale was a really underrated like action adventure game with stealth elements. The story was really good too. Again, I got pretty deep into it, but never beat it for PS4. But the fact that I can play it on Game Pass now was pretty exciting. Here comes another long stretch. We're talking about another 10 days in between releases, and there's a lot coming out. Luckily, Plague Tale Requiem is on Game Pass, so that's the money saved. 3 days later is Scorn. I didn't really know too much about Scorn until they showed it on the Xbox like trailer thing when it came out on back in June, and it looks like this really dystopian, really like Lovecraftian horror first person game. It looks really gross, really disgusting, and I'm here for it. And I'm also here for it because I don't have to spend any extra money because it's on Game Pass. Love it. 25th, we have October 25th. We have the first, and for me, the only double release date game right now. So you have Gotham Knights coming out, and then you have the Justin Roiland, the people who did Rick and Morty game coming out called High on Life. High on Life looks like a first person shooter, but it has a lot of comedy elements, a lot of from the actual show, and it has that like, for me, it has that what's it called, the improvisational like comedy where you honestly just know these people were just sitting in a room and just talking, and then like things were just coming to them. Nothing is scripted. It is so funny, so genius, and I love it very, very much. I cannot wait to play High on Life. Gotham Knights, it is not, it's not, don't call it Batman Arkham game. It's a four-person kind of game trying to cash in on the Avengers license. In terms of like the Avengers like formula where it's a live service game, and obviously it's like that because you have four. Hi, Chino. You have four playable characters in Nightwing. You have Robin. You have Batgirl, and you have Batgirl or Batwoman, and you have Red Hood. Well, I think I'm playing with Red Hood because I want to play something different. Don't you jump up here, Chino. Don't you jump up here. Don't you jump up here. If you jump up here, we're gonna fight. Don't jump up here. Do not do it. I'm playing as Red Hood because he has guns. I want to shoot people with his gats, and I want it to be distinctly different than playing with. I feel like if I play with Nightwing, I'm playing Batman Arkham Origins. And I want to play something different, so I'm gonna play as Red Hood. Chino, I see you. Don't jump up here. Anyway, so I can't wait to play this. Yes, this is a day one buy for me as well. Next up, 2 days later, is Star Ocean, the Divine Force. This is Star Ocean 6. Yeah, this is Star Ocean 6. I'm trying to think of all the first story, second story. What's the third one called? To the End of Time. The Last Hope. The fifth one had a weird name. And this one. Another JRPG. Square Enix is just releasing like crazy JRPGs this year. Live a Live, Valkyrie, and Star Ocean game all in 1 year. They're going crazy. Another one I'm just looking forward to because it's first of all Star Ocean. Now, I'm about to. If you're an actual JRPG fan, you're probably about to hate me. Now, I have Star Ocean 1 on my PS4 or PS5. It's installed upstairs. I actually started playing that a few months ago. Like it. Second story, I played on an emulator back in the day. Not bad. I bought Star Ocean 3 the same day it came out. And I think if you look at the release dates, I think Star Ocean 3 came out around the same time as Def Jam Fight for New York. Somebody fact check me on that. Never beat any of those 3 games. You know the Star Ocean game that I fell in love with and beat? Star Ocean: The Last Hope. I know the characters horrible. They look like dolls. It's really generic, but damn it, I love that game. And I don't blame because I played it afterwards. But I really got into the action RPG, and again because the 360 was such a heavy hitter with RPGs. I remember when I first got my 360 in 2008. There was 3 games I got for it right away: Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, Eternal Sonata, and then all the JRPGs started flowing from there. And China Arms was out before that. I played afterwards. Magna Carta 2, Star Ocean 4, Tales of Vesperia, which is my favorite Tales games of all time. Probably top 5 JRPGs I ever played in my life. I said Magna Carta 2, right? Spectral Force 3, Operation Darkness, all these niche JRPGs came out for this console. So Huge fan of Star Ocean 4. That's my favorite Star Ocean. I absolutely love the fact of, you know, for me, JRPGs are very important to have a few things. You gotta have a casino. I love gambling in JRPGs. You gotta have a casino. Ask my friend, shout out to Bubby. Metal Saga on PS2 had this like guess three game. So everybody likes Wordle, right? Imagine Wordle, but it's three numbers. It's three numbers between 0 to 9, and you have to guess which number it is. You have to guess the three-digit number. So, they give you 0, 1, 2. You do 0, 1, 2, and it says like you have two numbers right, but they're not in the right positions. So you then flip them over, and every time you go down, like if you get on the first try, you get like times $10,000, and then it goes like it's times 10,000. So if you bet like $10, you get 10 times 10,000, right? And it just goes down, down, down instead of, I think it's a 5-try thing. I've been obsessed with gambling and role playing games since then. Bubby will tell you that I spent like hours trying to get like the top score. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes you save there on the train that you do it on. You do your thing. If it goes wrong, you load the save back up. If you hit something real big, you reload the save. You save and then do it all over again. You just keep going back. Boy, it was bad. But JRPGs can have casinos, optional bosses, and post-game content. The Star Ocean, for all its crap, had one of the best side game, end games, bosses and things ever. Never forget, when you beat the final boss, and you save your data, and you reload your save, to the left of the last room you go into, there is it opens up, and you face a dragon. The dark dragon, whatever it is. You face him, and then you come out, and you get this new item, and you can go to a whole new dungeon where you face Gabriel Celestia and the Ethereal Queen. I beat Gabriel Celestia, never beat Ethereal Queen. I got the trophy for the achievement on Xbox. So there's that. I'm an experienced Star Ocean player. Back to Star Ocean, the Divine Force. Don't know if it's going to be good. It probably won't be. But you know who's going to play it? This guy. Got to give it a chance. I'm going to overlook Star Ocean 5 because I don't know what happened. I tried. I have it on my PlayStation. I think I have most of the Star Ocean downloaded. I think I have all but 2. I have 1. Yeah, I have 1. I have 3, 4, and I have 5 on my PlayStation. So if you guys re-release 2, I'm buying it as well. And I'll have the Divine Force. The Divine Force when it comes out October 27th. Here we go. By far, the absolute biggest release of 2022 comes out on November 9th. And it's freaking God of War Ragnarok. Now, controversial hot takes. It might be a future episode. God of War is the best, arguably the best, PlayStation 4 game of all time. Last of Us Part 2, I put up there as well. Uncharted 4. Any of those may be up there. Bloodborne, Persona 5, Horizon Forbidden Zero Dawn. For me, Sekiro, I think it goes for me, God of War, Last of Us Part 2, and then everything else. I'd probably put Sekiro up there. Not Sekiro, I'm sorry. Ghost of Tsushima, I apologize. Up there as well. But God of War 2018 came out April 20th, 2018. Never forget. One of the greatest games of a generation. Hands down. The gameplay. The whole reinvention of Kratos from this sex star maniac who's just killing everybody for fun to this loving, caring, deep father. Yeah, he's got his mannerism, boy, and all of that. But he really loves Atreus, and their emotional journey to spread his dead wife's ashes. The game, all the allusions to the old games. Getting the Blades of Chaos, one of the greatest scenes in any game. Oh my god. The boss battles, the optional boss battles, the fights against the Valkyries. Oh, easily one of the most challenging gaming experiences of my life facing the final Valkyrie. I could not freaking believe it. So God of War Ragnarok, I mean, we've been kind of on the edge of our seats in God of War when the secret ending scene where Thor is outside the cabin. So now we're getting Ragnarok. They show Fenrir in the trailer, the giant wolf. Obviously we know Atreus is Loki. You know, it's so much going on. I'm very excited for God of War Ragnarok. Day one buy. Might have to request off the whole weekend. I think it's out next on a Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's a random day of the week, and whenever it comes out, I'm taking it off and I'm gonna play it because this is a top tier game. This is a game that you cancel everything for. This is the game release of 2022. Everybody thought it was going to be pushed back because they weren't talking about it. They haven't really shown any gameplay for it as well, which I'm okay with. I don't need to see too much. I just need to make sure that it's still the same hack and slash glory that I like. Same puzzles, same things that you can do, optional content, things like that. I'm all for it. You know, there's nothing wrong with a straight up linear open world gaming experience. Not everything has to be big and open like Elden Ring. You can have things that are self-contained like Horizon Forbidden West, things like that, where it's still open world, or Dying Light 2, where it's still open world and there's still things to do, but it's not too open world where it's overwhelming. You know, God of War Ragnarok is by far the biggest gaming release of 2022. Finally, the last game that has a release date right now is the Callisto Protocol, coming out December 2nd. This is made by this was revealed at Game Awards 2020. It has all the makings of a new Dead Space. It looks creepy. The atmosphere is there. It's made by the guy who did Dead Space. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. With Dead Space, the remake coming out in January 29th, 2023. This is a nice little build-up, a little lead-in to what to expect in the actual remake coming up in a month. I'm gonna judge it as its own game. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I didn't see when I think I showed a little bit of gameplay. I just saw that it was just enough horror, and I haven't really played any horror games this year. Of course, last year we had Resident Evil 8 Village, but that wasn't too much of a horror. It was more like a Resident Evil 4 kind of thing. Oh man, Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 come out within two months of each other next year. That's gonna be a hell of a year. That's like two of my favorite survival horror games. Two other games that don't have a release date this year just yet. While I haven't seen the movie and I really don't care about the sequel, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Look, they're promising an action adventure game. It's Ubisoft, so it's probably gonna be a collectathon. I want to see more about it. Hogwarts Legacy, like come on. November is like barren. There's not a lot of game releases. Of course, we had God of War. I think if you release Hogwarts like 2 weeks later, let the hype go down a little bit. You get the Harry Potter fans out before Thanksgiving. Somebody also talked to me on Facebook about it. I think if you do that, you'll get some release. You'll get some buzz. And also for his next game, Sonic Frontiers, where somebody said, "Oh, it's Sonic but Breath of the Wild." It's Breath of the Wild but with Sonic. I'm okay with that. I just want to be able to run from one edge of the level all the way to the end of the edge of the level in the world while I got banging music playing by Crush 40 in the background. You know, that's all I really want. I'm a simple man. I like simple things. Like, just give me that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Like I said, if I had to put like what I'm looking forward to most, number 3 would probably be. I'm going to pick. I'm gonna pick Soul Hackers 2 because again, it's a JRPG, turn-based JRPG, and there's not many of these on the list. Like Valkyrie and Star Ocean, action RPGs, potential to be crap. Don't think Soul Hackers 2 would be bad, so I'm putting Soul Hackers 2 number 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 definitely number 2. Soul Hackers 2 is number 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is number 2. It's confusing because the numbers are flipped. It's number 2, but just simply because I know what to expect from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I know how great of a game that was, and I know 2 was trash. They're not trash, but it wasn't my speed. But I'm willing to give 3 a shot. And of course, 1 is God of War Ragnarok. Again, I think God of War 2018 is the epitome of action adventure games. I think it will be what the formula for action adventure games to come. That's what you attribute to if you're trying to do a fantasy hack and slash type of game. That's what you want to do. That's how you reinvent an icon in Kratos. and I cannot wait to see how his adventure ends. I'm looking forward to the fight with Thor. I'm looking to the fight with Fenrir and all these other Norse gods that we have not even touched yet. And of course, the mother who's he killed Baldur. I'm looking forward to seeing God. What was her name? But she's definitely going to have a piece of Kratos in this sequel. All right, that is it for me. Thank you so much. Tell me if I missed any video games. Of course, I know that there is Call of Duty coming out this year. Who cares? For me personally, it's not against Call of Duty. It's just it's not my cup of tea, and I'm not spending $70 a year on the same shooter. Probably the same reason why I don't buy the 2K games anymore as well. But I'm not spending money on that. But tell me if I missed any game that you're looking forward to this year, and any console, any indie games I missed. You know, I know that I don't think they announced for the new Hollow Knight games coming out this year, or if it's coming out next year. Whenever it's coming out, it's the same day as Game Pass, so it's within the year we're still in. We still have 11 months left. That's the only like really big indie title I'm looking forward to. But I'm sure there'll be a lot ones that that come out in the next few months that I probably didn't put in this list. But yeah, please tell me in the comments on YouTube, or hit me up on my Facebook or Instagram, FatmanStephens on Instagram, Twitter. It's FatmanPod90. What games are you looking forward to that I missed this year, or what's coming out in 2023? I already talked about Dead Space remake and Resident Evil 4 remake. Those are the two big games for 2023 for me right now. Of course, whenever Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, that will stop. The world will stop for that. But what else this year specifically I'm going to hear about? We're on all podcast channels. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Deezer, Overcast, anywhere you get your podcast. It is the FatmanStephens, one word, then podcast. Also on YouTube, if you're looking at the video, hello. We are on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Again, comments on any other games you're looking forward to this year alone. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you again next week for another episode of the FatmanStephens podcast. Goodbye. Woo, 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 woo.